So let's get started. Thanks, Uncle Steve, for joining me today.
All right, how's it
So,
going?
so Uncle Steve is not my uncle. He is my brother. He is the uncle of my children. So I've been calling him Uncle Steve for 30 years now, 31 years. Stephen just my son Stephen, who's named after Uncle Steve, turned 31 today. So you've been Uncle Steve
Yeah,
for
it's
31
exciting.
years.
It's getting to be an old guy.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he himself said that 30 was officially old. Now he's over the hill, 31. So,
No more snowboarding.
no. So, Uncle Steve, tell us who you are. What do you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm an art teacher.
An art teacher. You're an artist.
Yeah, well, I used to be an artist. I'll be an artist again when I start making art,
Yeah,
right?
you're an artist. I
You
have
have to make
artwork. I
art
have
to be an
artwork in my
artist.
home that you've made, so that makes you an
Yeah,
artist.
I'll be back into it. Yeah, when I retire from teaching, I'll be an artist again.
And what else do you do? Tell the world what else you do.
I like to make games.
Yeah, so you have several published games. What list off your games that you've made. Steve Avery games.
So the newest one is Dice Conquest. It's a little game.
I was gonna get to
It
Dice Conquest at the end because that's my favorite, but you started with it, but that's fine.
Okay, well,
But
it's
that's
the one
fine. You
that's
do
out
whatever
right
you
now.
do whatever you want to do. It's Dice
It's
Conquest.
the one that's out,
Dice
right?
Dice
So,
Conquest. Every media person always wants to talk about their latest work. So you're like everybody like stars on goes on whatever the Late Show or whatever. They're like, let me tell you about what I did lately. That's what you just did
yeah, right. So that's coming out March,
in March.
right?
Okay,
So then there's a other the first one, Days Conquest, was out a year ago, but now they've got Pathfinder, which is a role playing game, Dice Conquest,
Pathfinder
and
Dice Conquest.
the thing about the game is it's a really fast little light dungeon crawl that uses polyhedral dice.
Right.
And you can play it. It's almost like a puzzle, actually, but you play it in about 30 minutes. But I put out a couple other games. I have Kardashev Scale, which was kind of a paper rock scissors mechanic where you would build up resources and
Yeah.
then buy into a tech tree. And then I had Smash City. That was where you were giant kaiju smashing a
Yeah.
city,
I
and the
loved
kaiju were these big foam dice that you would throw at the city, and you throw it at each other.
I love Smash
And
City.
then yeah, and then I have a party game called Tada, and that's really old. That's been out there that's like 15 years old.
Ta-da is fun.
Just a quick dice game.
Yeah, Ta-da is a blast. You play it like it's party game and play it in 15 minutes, if
Yep.
that, and then
And then
it's fun.
my biggest game is probably Nothing Personal.
The first one, that was the
Um,
first one.
yeah, the first one was a gangster game
So this
and a
was
lot of
presented in
negotiation.
reverse chronological order.
Yeah. Well, I skipped a few. There was a couple that flew under the radar,
Okay.
right? They have
This
Doppelganger, which is hidden traitor dungeon crawl, right? I don't think you've ever played it, but the
I saw it. I saw a copy of it. Whatever happened
yeah.
to the
So
whatever happened to the you had a one that was like I loved it. We played it. It was like Japanese demons or something like that.
yeah. So Onimaru has they did a Kickstarter for it 6 years ago, and the publisher still has not released the game.
That's
Yeah.
horrible. So they
Yeah,
took
so
the people's
I've had
money and they
two
didn't release
publishers
the game.
default. I've had two publishers default on games, and the guy on Omimaro, he tried to, basically he blew through all his money, and then didn't have enough money to make the game. He was just mismanaged
Oh
it,
my gosh.
and then he finally came back like later on and scraped together enough money to make the game, but it's still sitting is the technically it's on the water. So I think what's happening is that someone has warehoused it and they're probably waiting for like a final payment or something.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That was a cool
So that
game.
game, yeah, we'll see if it ever comes out. Like it's supposedly made,
Yeah.
but it's not in the hands of the backers. So
Oh
and I had
wow.
one other game that defaulted. There was another guy that just flaked out. These what happens is you license these games to the different publishers,
Right.
right? And so once you license it, it's out of your hands. You know,
Sure.
they
They can control it.
they control it, right?
Right.
So this other guy ran a Kickstarter. It's actually the guy that came into your house that one time
Yeah.
with a mustache.
Yeah.
Anyways, he did a campaign and just flaked out. He just never delivered it. So
That's
he
a shame.
basically defrauded all those people.
Oh,
And
that's a
the thing
shame.
is like people have very little recourse to get their money back because what are you gonna do? Like a small claims court? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. Class
Individually,
action
people have
suit or
put in,
something for
yeah.
whatever,
I
you
mean,
know.
individually, people. Well, it's not even worth the money, right?
Right.
Because they've raised, I think he raised maybe $18,000, and those are from people paying $50 or $70 at a time.
My goodness.
So I mean,
Yeah.
and then I've had a couple other games that were published but just didn't do well. Um, One was called Metal Dawn, where the the robots. It's basically Terminator 2. Robots come
Right.
alive and they take over DC, and you're trying to fight them off. And it's like Terminator 2 crossed with a 80s GI Joe action movie.
Sounds
It's
fun.
kind of cheesy. It's
Yeah, that
got
sounds
that
fun
vibe.
though.
Yeah.
So
So
you're like I call it so for everybody else out there, I mean I call it the Steve Avery experience, which is my brother is like the funnest dude ever to party with and hang out with. And it's not just me, everybody thinks that. Everybody who meets him thinks that. What I realized is that I went to this trade show, which is why I'm now doing this video, right? That I like talking to people too, and I'm kind of a little extroverted myself, so that's what this is all about. This is our our test run of talking to people about their what they like, their industry or their
passions or interests,
yeah
yeah.
their interests and things like that. So I mean I know that you're an artist, you like art, but I think that one thing that you and I end up talking about all the time, it just comes up over and over and over again, is what is the next thing we want to create, whether it's a game or like you have a laser cutter. I've got a CNC machine, 3D printers, and it's like, I want to make this and I want to make that. That kind of stuff really lights both of us up, right? It excites both
Yeah.
of us, right?
I'm excited right now to start my pottery studio.
Oh, that
That's
sounds cool.
Yeah, it's like that's my big thing. I want it up and running before I retire. You know,
That's
so
great.
that means like rewiring the garage for a kiln and
Hmm.
cleaning out a bunch of stuff
So
and
the kiln takes 220.
takes 220, and also you want it well vented.
Okay.
So like, yes, you can park in the middle of your garage, but when you fire it, all that heat's got to go someplace.
Got it.
Right.
So
And not only
yeah,
that, but there's chemicals in the glazes and stuff like that. You don't really want to be breathing that stuff.
got it. So you're gonna have to put like a ceiling or like a vent fan in the ceiling of the garage or something, or
Right. Or more
just gotta
likely,
design it,
one of the two
design
things, I'll
around
either
that.
park it near a window and do like a big window vent,
Right.
or which that's the easy way to go. But what I'd really like to do is build like a structure outside where,
Oh,
it
like a
vents directly outside and
serious kiln
yeah,
for serious artists.
yeah, exactly.
Why
So,
not? You only live once, man. I'm gonna I'm gonna hold you to that. So like when what? See, you're gonna retire this spring, May, June,
yep,
right?
May.
May, right? So like
Well, end of May, end of
by
May.
fall I'll come visit you and we'll do a follow-up video where we're seeing your new
Okay.
kiln set up.
I'll show you around my studio.
That's right.
It will definitely. I guarantee it'll be up and running by then. I
Okay,
I I
I'm.
swear it.
I swear, I'm excited. I'm super excited. So,
Fortunately, if anybody needs a mad scientist later, though, you do.
I do. I mean, I have my mad science like spread all over the house. I'm at like the not the dining room table, the nook table with my laptop now, only because my office is such a bombshell. Has gone on. I mean, I could do it in there, and I could have a 3D printer behind me, and my three-car garage is all overtaken with every mad sciencey thing that I'm doing. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
those.
do need I do like I think the problem for me, Steve, is if I had a larger space, if I had a four-car garage, I would just fill it up. And if it was five-car garage, I would still fill that up. So
I was visiting our parents, my mom and dad, and
yeah,
as I'm driving into the lake, one of the houses, because it's out in the countryside, right? So there's no
right.
covenants or anything like that. But this you got a pretty nice looking house, but behind it is this giant metal shed, right? One of those like long ones and right in the middle, it's got like a big two-car rolling.
Garage door, yeah.
Yeah, and as I drove past, I'm looking inside. I'm thinking to myself, and I can see like, okay, there's a drill press and a welding machine and like all this. I
Yeah,
was like,
everything.
that's what my brother needs. He needs like the entire industrial
I would
experience.
I would get in so much trouble with that. I would definitely. I mean, I'm probably headed in that direction one of these days. I mean, I don't need this big giant house anymore. I could do a smaller house, but with a big giant workshop, right? So, Kelly and I have been talking about that. We'll see what happens, but for me, I am such a creature of habit, and I just do the same thing t- today that I did yesterday, right? I'm so momentum driven. It's hard for me to give up this house, but I think I'm headed in that direction. I'm starting to come off of I'm starting to make movement in that direction. So which
There's
means
a
like in
lot
the
of
next 10
wonderful
years I'll
things about
probably
that.
pull it off.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. A lot of wonderful things about that house. Not to mention your whole family grew up there, and we
Yeah,
have
there's
so
a
many
lot of
memories.
memories here, and it was weird because when Kelly started talking to me early in 2024 about downsizing, and it was like, I mean, I told you this, but the whole thing about not thinking of myself as a material person, like I think of myself, my own internal head is like thinking I'm a spiritual person, I'm not a material person, but then realizing that there was something down deep inside me that attach this giant house to success. So it's more, or there was other elements, I guess, in my personality than just the memories of raising my kids here, right? And I was like, man, I got to give that. I need to let go of that. That's stuff. You and I have talked about this at length. That the material stuff is not important, and it's. I think that creating stuff that is really what makes me excited you know and
Which is why you need a mad scientist
I need a
later.
mad science later. So to that point, I thank you so much for your feedback on the graphics and the assets that I was making for the bait shark stuff. um, I think that the final banner that I came up with, maybe I'll pull it up here, but I think the final banner I came up with, um, I was really happy with the vertical banner with the three fish on it, and I spent a lot of time on that. I spent like 2 days. Part of it I didn't know the GIMP image manipulation program, but the other part of it was I kept sending it out to you and to mom and dad and asking for feedback. And then I listened to the feedback and I was like, okay, I'm going to apply the feedback to try and iterate on this thing. And I remember English. English is Steven's wife, my sister-in-law. I remember English saying, if you don't like it, then you're just not done with it yet. She was teaching me some art when we were, visiting down here. So that was really good. I'm really happy with the all of the stuff that I came up with. It was a lot of work. It was hard work, but I enjoyed it because I was like, I'm making something,
Wait to see your display at the next fishing show.
Oh, to that point, I was just I was searching around today about fishing shows because I knew that they had one here in Manatee County, like the Bradenton or Manatee County Convention Center, which was like just down the road. I was like, oh, let me see when that fishing show is. And I was searching around. I was like, oh, there's a Tampa boat show, and it's in 2 weeks. It's just at the end of February, so I signed up for it today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take all that stuff
Will
out.
you
Like
have the banners by then?
yeah, I ordered everything yesterday. It should be in like a couple days before that show, so I'll get to use it, and then I'll use it again in 2 weeks in mobile.
Yeah.
So
Local shows, that's the best,
I
right?
think this is going to be really cool because on one of the assets, I like the little whatever the business flyer thing. I put made in Bradenton, Florida, and like this is just in Tampa, so like most of the people know where Bradenton is. It's like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't have to get an Airbnb or anything. I just drive up there every day for the show. So I signed up for it today, and I'm like, I'm kind of excited about it. Hopefully it would be really exciting if I could
Yeah.
like sell enough product to pay for the show. That would be very exciting. But right now, I'm just like trying to get the word out and trying to get that.
How much was the fees?
What's that? Oh, it was a
How much
thousand
was the booth
dollars.
fee?
It's $1,000.
Booth fee is $1,000. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that means that it's a good show. I don't know. I mean, the East Tennessee fishing show was only $500, but or 550 or something like that. But the problem was it was mostly bass fishing. It's not near the salt water, not near the coast. A little bit of kayak fishing, but not a lot. And I don't think my booth location was terrible. My banners and all that stuff were I realized, like that's why I redid everything. I was like, this isn't working. So that was my first show. So you live and learn. But we'll see what happens.
All right, good luck, man. Break a leg.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, well, that's like 20 minutes and I really appreciate you helping me out and I'll see how this goes. I'm gonna see like what it looks like and then if it looks good, I'll just post it.